Assalamualaikum and hi guys, my name is Intan Amiza and I'm going to explain about connective functions. But before that, do you know how we acquire information, or do you know how we use that information? So basically, gaining information and cognitive function is related. It is because gaining information we gain from our daily life, such as reading, listening, speaking, and cognitive function we can define as cerebral activities that lead to knowledge. They are related because of that knowledge that from gaining. So cognitive function included with attention, memory, language, perception, decision making, problem solving, and cognitive function. Other than that, cognitive function has been studied by a lot of scientists working different from domains such as neuroscience, psychology, anthropology, and philosophy, and that's make a lot of theories and models to explain about cognitive functions. This cognitive function we will develop from our childhood, infant or childhood, and then we will getting lesson during our late adulthood. But it will be different when someone who have physical and poor physical and mental health, such as depression.
Hi, I'm Cha, and now I'm going to explain about brain damage language. Brain damage occurs when one person's brain is injured due to traumatic injury, for example, car accident or fall. It can also be caused by non-traumatic injury, like stroke or exposure to radiation and toxic substances. For young people, the most common cause of brain injury is caused by the closed head injury, which is caused by the external force, while for the older people, the most common cause of brain damage is stroke, the temporary interruption of the blood flow to our brain due to the blood clot. The damage to one area of our brain will affect other areas based on the severity. The damage to our brainstem will also cause cognitive impairment. For example, we are having problems in concentrate, organizing our thoughts, and become forgetful. Next, there is also a language problem. For instance, we are having trouble in finding words, fail to explain something to others, or having poor sentence formation. Our writing and reading ability will also be affected. For instance, we are unable to recognize our written word, or having problem in understanding simple word or sentence, and we will also write the word with the letter in incorrect order. The injury to our language center will lead to condition called aphasia. Aphasia is a disturbance of language that affecting our speech production, reading, and comprehension. And this will be further explained by my friend. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Generally, broca's aphasia is a loss of ability to understand speech and contact using words. The symptom of broca's aphasia is mostly related to severe difficulty in communication due to brain difficulty to contact efficiently with all the muscles.
The first symptoms of Broca's aphasia is impaired language production. When individuals who suffer Broca's aphasia speak, their speech is understandable but limited with words, which they can only produce one words or two or three words in group. Their speech also usually contain words like verb, noun, and adjective. Words like conjunction and preposition are rarely used except for and in their speech. Moreover, long intervals between words are common. They generate one syllable at a time with intervals between syllables. Second symptom is problem in comprehending grammatical words. Individuals with Broca's aphasia understand much of everyday communication around them, but they have difficulty in understanding the sentence, which depend on preposition, word endings, and complex grammar. For example, if they hear someone say sentence with complex grammar like, "The cake that the boy liked is round," they may know that there is a cake and there is a boy, but they not really understand the meaning of the sentence. However, individuals with broca's aphasia do not totally lose their grammar skills, which sometimes they know there is an error in a sentence, but they do not know how to change it. Next symptoms of broca's aphasia is difficulties in repetition. Individuals who suffer broca's aphasia may understand the words or sentence that they hear from the environment, but they have difficulty in repetition, which they cannot repeat what they hear correctly, so it is difficult for them to perform a task. The last symptoms of broca's aphasia is awareness in deficit. Just like other individual with broca aphasia, the individual is unaware of their errors, but sometimes they may notice their mistakes because of the effort that comes in the communication. When they are conscious of their communication deficits, they are more likely to suffer stress and anger outbursts. Generally, broca's aphasia is caused by damage at the anterior region of the brain, which is in Broca's area. It is located at the frontal lobe and the left side of the brain, which control motor movement and language. The most common causes of broca's aphasia is stroke, which is the blockage or rupture of a blood vessel inside the brain. Stroke occur when the blood is unable to reach a part of the brain, cause brain cells die due to insufficient blood supply, which carries oxygen and necessary nutrients. The stroke that occur in the dominant inferior frontal lobe or Broca's area cause difficulty in communication as the damage occur in a part of brain that control language. Broca's aphasia can also be caused by brain tumor. Brain tumor is a group of abnormal brain cells which occur in many different types that lead damage to the brain. Brain tumors is classified as either primary or secondary, which the primary brain tumors originate in the individual brain, while the secondary brain tumors develop when cancer cells from another organs like lung or breast spread to the brain. Broca's aphasia also caused by brain injury, which when a person's brain is injured caused by traumatic injury due to a head blow, shaking or serious rotational injury that affects the brain. Brain injury which is serious enough to cause more permanent brain damage can lead to Broca's aphasia if the brain tissue that get damaged is important for speech and language production.
Diagnosis of a patient who suffers from Broca's aphasia is done usually by a physician. The patient is diagnosed case by case when there is injury or damage that can affect the location around the cortex. When there is a confirm the patient is having a Broca's aphasia, he or she will be proceed to having a treatment.
As you guys can see in the slide, there is 3 ways to diagnose Broca's aphasia. First is by doing MRI and CT scan. This is used to identify the location or damage happened in brain. Next is by doing a test or procedure. Several tests can be done before the patient having a treatment. And the third one is by interviewing with patient family. The therapist can ask the family about patient interests, hobby, and personality.
For the treatment, there is no treatment that have been standard to treat patient with Broca's aphasia. This is because the treatment given is rely on the individual condition itself. Treatment can be done in 2 ways, either in individual or in group. But treatment in group is seen more beneficial even though it is not common.
Next, we move to how to treat patient with Broca's aphasia. As you guys can see in the slide, melodic intonation therapy, MIT, and conversation therapy, CT, can be used. MIT is a kind of treatment that uses melodic rhythm, intonation, and patient sing on a short phrase. It is beneficial to enhance the process in right hemisphere of the patient to help them in retrieval cue and non-fluent language. Meanwhile, Conversation therapy approach can be done with partner to communicate and having conversation with each other. The therapy also can be done with scripted conversation between the patient and therapist. Scripted conversation help patient with Broca's aphasia to understand, remember and recall that will give benefit to them for personal activity in the future.
Hello everyone. So today I'm going to explain about Wernicke aphasia. So Wernicke aphasia occurs when the middle left part of our brain is injured or damaged, and it's near to the Wernicke area, where the function of this area is responsible for the control of human language. And Wernicke aphasia people, they can easily speak, but they often speak in complete sentence that does not make any sense, using incorrect and also unnecessary words in it. So their understanding in words is impaired, so sometimes the answer that they give will not match. So people with Wernicke aphasia, they also have hard time to understand the words spoken language and also written language. They take a longer time in it. So today I'm going to explain about the symptoms and also the cause that Wernicke aphasia people have. Alright, first, the symptom is people with Wernicke aphasia, they have problem understanding words and also language. People with Wernicke aphasia, they find themselves hard to understand spoken or written language. It is because the part of our brain that are responsible for the use of meaning and languages are closely related to the part of Wernicke area in our brain. So when the part of the Wernicke area is injured or also damaged, the brain is unable to fully comprehend and it receives the information incorrectly. So the second symptom is fluent speech. So people with Wernicke aphasia, they somehow can come out with a complete sentence when they speak, although they sound appropriate when they speak and do not have trouble giving speech. The words they use in their sentence sometimes does not make any sense and are impaired by mixing random words. So for the third symptoms, people that have Wernicke aphasia, they are always unaware that they use the wrong phrase or word when they speak, and this leads to further explanation why people with Wernicke aphasia, they fail to realize the incorrect sentence that they are making when they produce a sentence. They also have problem in writing and reading, so it makes them face difficulties in reading and also writing. Because of this, it takes a longer time for them to comprehend the information, and it depends on the seriousness of the Wernicke area. So people with Wernicke aphasia are also facing problem when keeping information. The ability of Wernicke aphasia people with this disorder when retaining certain information greatly reduced when in a long period. Okay, so next I'm going to explain about the causes of Wernicke aphasia. So stroke is the most common causes of Wernicke aphasia. So when the blood flow of the brain is blocked or interrupt, the stroke will occur, and this can cause the oxygen and the nutrient are unable to supply with enough amount of it to the Wernicke area, and it eventually will cause the cells of the part of the brain to die within minutes. So the next causes of Wernicke aphasia is head injury and also brain tumor. So head injuries are injuries that occurs in a part of the brain where accidents happen, some falls, physically attacked by someone or sports, and injuries from the head can cause Wernicke aphasia if the area of the brain is injured in that area. And next one is brain tumor, where a slow growing brain tumor in the part of the brain also may cause Wernicke aphasia to occur. So neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's disease is also one of the causes of Wernicke aphasia, where Alzheimer's disease, it prevents the cells of the brain from functioning properly, and the required amount of the oxygen and nutrient are unable to supply to the cells, and it eventually leads to the death of the nerve cells, causing changes in the part of the brain So as the Alzheimer's slowly spreads to the other parts of the brain, it causes damage and unable to function properly, which there is a tendency to cause Wernicke aphasia.
I will explain furthermore about Wernicke's aphasia. Wernicke aphasia can be diagnosed by detecting their language deficit. And if the patient shows sign of aphasia, the physician itself will refer them to speech-language pathologists, which will help them to improve their language abilities. To diagnose the Wernicke's aphasia patient, MRI and CT scan are used to ensure the accurate part of brain injury. Besides that, the physician will use two types of assessment, which are formal assessment and informal assessment, in evaluating the patient deficit. Informal assessment, the most widely used in language deficit patient, is Boston Diagnostic Aphasia Examination. Moreover, the physician will evaluate comprehension by giving simple and complex commands to diagnose the language deficit. However, for informal assessment, the physician will evaluate the patient by having a family interview to obtain the patient comprehensive profile of their communication skills. These assessment or diagnosis are crucial for the patient to develop their treatment plan. As we know, Wernicke's aphasia is one of the issues that diminish one's language ability. There are no specific treatment for them, but some treatment can be recommended by the physician itself. I will explain some recommendations that will help the Wernicke aphasia patient. By developing and assist the patient with the treatment plan, it may help them to use remaining language function effectively. Treatment such as auditory comprehensive treatment can help the Wernicke's aphasia patient especially. Using this approach, the physician will help in increasing the capability in understanding single word and spoken sentences by asking questions and giving directions. Moreover, social approach treatment are recommended as it involves the society, especially family members, in helping the Wernicke's aphasia patient. For instance, having a conversation may help the patient to increase their communication skills. Therefore, it can be understood that this approach can minimize their consequences.
As for conclusions, cognitive function is an important part that we need to take serious towards taking care of it. It is because we need it the most of the time in our daily life, such as when we need to read, sometimes when we need to listen to someone's talk, when we need to speak ourselves. And we pick Wernicke's aphasia as our example because this disorder have injured in left brain and lead to language difficulties. People who diagnosed with Wernicke's aphasia, they will feel hard to understand what people talk or difficult to recognize the meaning of the word they have read. And Wernicke's aphasia cannot be cured, but we can take them towards therapy sessions such as conversation therapy, to make it lessen or a bit better. So we need to take care every part of our body, internal or external, and don't let them destroy our future. So that's all from us. Thank you.